Hello, everyone. So we are here to do some pick a card readings. We are going to do some past life readings today. So if you're interested in a personal reading with me about your past lives or anything else, check out my Etsy. The link will be in the comments below. So let's jump into this. Just let me share this out. Just want to share this. Hello. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Okay. Let's see if I can. Okay, guys. So if you guys want a personal reading, let me drop my Etsy link in the comments here. And today we're doing collective readings. Hello, Jess. I'm gonna pin this comment. So if you guys want a private reading with me, the link to my Etsy is in the comments below. um, so check those out. Today we're doing collective readings, so we're going to do pick a card readings. So these are collective. If they don't resonate with you, that is okay. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Hello, Troy. So I'm gonna throw up the graphic and let me know which picture you are drawn to, and we'll jump into these. So here's what we have. We have 1, 2, or 3. So comment 1, 2, or 3 below. Let me know which one you guys are drawn to, and we'll jump into these readings. Okay. So for pile number 1, let me pull my banners up here. For those of you who chose pile number 1, we're going to jump into this. So these are past life readings. I'm just going to look into who you might have been in a past life. If you guys want a personal reading with me, the Etsy link is in the comments below. I also have past life readings, more in-depth past life readings over there. So if you guys want a personal one, let me know. Check that out. Okay, so for pile number 1s, the decks we are using before I jump into this, we're using the Past Life Oracle deck as well as the Art History Tarot for Past Lives. So the 2 Oracle cards that came up were Celtic and Monk or Nun. And then the tarot cards that we have coming up is Greece, And this is the Eight of Pentacles. We also have twin flames in the Ten of Cups. Then we have 17th century in the Seven of Pentacles. We have 18th century in the Eight of Wands. We have Indigenous woman in the Queen of Pentacles reversed. We have betrayal in the Seven of Swords reversed. We have Europe and the Sun reversed. And then we have Africa as well and the Magician. So we're going to jump into this. Oh, Jess, I got your call, my dear. I'll call you back after the live if you're still watching. I was in the middle of doing something when you called. Okay, so for those of you who chose pile number one, in a past life, you were definitely somebody who was religious, okay? And you based your whole life around this. This was not just a, you had your religious or spiritual beliefs. No, like you lived your whole life around this. It's possible that you could have been like a Celtic priest or nun. I don't want to say nun because I don't think Celtics had nuns, but you could have been Celtic in nature. You could have lived around in the Celtic area or where Celtic religion was prominent. I feel like for a lot of you, though, you were like a Celtic priest or priestess in a past life. I'm going to say priestess because what came through for whether you were masculine or feminine was female. But sometimes the tarot doesn't have gender, so even though it says female, it could be different. I feel like you guys were definitely in a female body. So when I asked whether you were male or female, what came up was the Eight of Pentacles and Twin Flames. So which was Pentacles and Cups. So both of these are feminine elements. So I feel like you were definitely a female in this life. I don't feel like you lived in Greece. We're going to cut that out altogether. Although I don't know, it is possible, but I don't feel that way. I was more drawn to the Eight of Pentacles and a lot of the imagery on these cards. So the first thing I got is that you were probably a female in this lifetime, okay? Um, or at least inhabited a feminine body, but I also got that you could have been bisexual, meaning that you were attracted to both males and females, considering both of these are couples. In this one, it's a female and a female. In this one, it's a female and a male. So you may have been bisexual in nature. But I also feel like you were somebody who was connected to both aspects of yourself. So just because you were feminine in body does not necessarily mean you were connected to both the feminine and masculine aspects of yourself, right? I feel like for some of you, you may have even been connected to a twin flame, but the twin flame that was coming through when I pulled these cards was in the sense of ourselves, right? We all have masculine sides to us and feminine sides to us. Our twin flames exist within us as well as outside of us, right? As within, so without. So I felt like this was more of an internal thing when I pulled this card, that you guys were somebody who was very much in balance with your divine masculine and your divine feminine in this lifetime. Okay. But you definitely embodied a female body. You could have possibly lived between the 16th and 17th century, or 17th and 18th century, sorry. This doesn't always have to be the case though, but I was drawn to the dates, so it's possible that you lived within this time span or somewhere in between the 17th and 18th century. Now I know that's 100-year span in there, so that's quite a big gap, but I feel like your lifetime or this particular lifetime was existent within that time span. Okay. I'm also getting that you were somebody who had a blast wide open, like a very blasted open crown chakra. So in this card, you can see this is an angel, but See how his crown chakra, all that light coming up from the top of his head? So you guys had a blasted open crown chakra. Like, you guys were super, super, super in touch with your spirituality. Um, and all forces of things. So there's like the angels, there's the, I'm gonna say humans, and there's the balance there, the divinity, right? There's the Grim Reaper on one side. I'm gonna say positive and negative on one side, and then you have the angel in the middle. But I also feel like this is mind, body, soul. Um, the lower realms, upper realms, middle realms. Okay. So humanity tends to exist within the middle realm of things, but there is a realm above us and a realm below us. I felt like you are somebody who was like, I don't, it could have been shamanic in nature, able to travel between the worlds and connect to all the different realms of existence that existed. But you were definitely, you could have been a Celtic shaman of some sort. You were very spiritual in nature, but I feel like you were also very able to connect to other people, and you were still very much connected to the community that you were a part of. Okay. Um, so for as spiritual as you were, this spirituality didn't make you feel like an outcast, okay? I feel like you guys may have been a part of a highly spiritual community, so you weren't really an outcast in this at all. What else am I getting from this? Hold on. You were definitely a hard worker too. So with the Seven of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands as well, like you guys were also somebody who was really, you were manifestors. You were able to manifest things. You were able to manipulate your energy very, very well. Like master manifestors comes through with this. You were well aware of the energy you held within yourself. You were able to project that outwards consciously and with focus in a specific direction. And as a result, you were able to manifest the things you wanted because of that. So you guys were very good with working with energy and using energy, manipulating energy to manifest things. So definitely magicians in that lifetime, I want to say. So the other cards we have coming up are Indigenous Woman and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Betrayal and the Seven of Swords and Europe, which is the Sun card. What I got from these when they popped out is I got like the immediate thing that popped out to me was the Judas in this card. Okay. So you guys may have been viewed by outside communities as somebody who has, or even legends. If you look at back in this, if you can find yourself in history, you may have been portrayed as the bad guy. Okay. I feel like you died from a betrayal of some sort. Someone did betray you, and that was your source of death. Because that's what was coming through very, very clear. But also, I got that you were viewed as the reason why you were betrayed is because the people that you were around at the time when this occurred didn't necessarily agree with your viewpoints, you could say. um, because this is a swords card. They didn't agree with what you were showing, what you were demonstrating, what you were communicating out to people. And they viewed you as a very negative person. I got like almost like a Lilith kind of vibe through this, in the sense that you know how Lilith was demonized by the Christian church, right? This is almost the vibe that came through this. So you may have went through something similar to like the witch trials where you were persecuted in the end for what you believed in. Someone may have betrayed you to somebody of power at the time, um, and caused your death. I feel like you were very indigenous, meaning very like connected to the earth. Okay, this is definitely you. I don't feel like when I said you were part of a community, you were part of a small community. I don't feel like you were part of like a big cultural town or you lived in a city or someplace that was overpopulated. You may have been a part of a small indigenous community. Celtics, a lot of their traditions were passed on through oral teachings, which is why they're so hard to replicate right now, because nothing was written down back in those days. They were communicated and passed on through storytelling. So I feel like this, whatever your beliefs were, got to the wrong person, and they went to somebody like Christianity or not to nail Christianity, but they're the most famous ones for doing this. And somebody of power at the time whose beliefs differed from yours, and you were persecuted and put to death because of it. Okay. What I'm getting as far as how this is affecting you right now, we had the African come out. Hold on, I want to see if I can pull in more details from this. Okay. So not only too were you a very practical, down to earth person, and this is why you were so likable, right? Because you embodied that Queen of Pentacles energy. So you were very relatable. People could approach you and they just felt at home with you, right? They could connect to you in ways that a lot of people can't. People were comfortable around you, which made you a very powerful person. I feel like you didn't necessarily lead through your words, you led through example. You lived the life you preached. You were a very straightforward person with the Seven of Swords in reverse. You didn't bullshit people around, okay? Um, you weren't you were not the type of person, like, if you had an issue with somebody or, you spoke your truth. You weren't going to lie and manipulate people to get people to believe what you believed. You were more of a, "I'll live my life by example. I'll show people what I believe, and they can choose to believe whether they want to believe what they want to believe in the end of it." You didn't sugarcoat anything. You didn't lie, manipulate, or sneak behind anybody's back. What you've seen is what you got with you, and you were a very, very straightforward person that way. You didn't have any reason to really lie to anybody. You were comfortable with who you were, and you had a very strong sense of who you were, both spiritually and physically speaking. And you knew your own power, and you were very tapped into that. So you really had no reason to lie to anybody. But unfortunately, you may have been envied also for your power. That might have been part of the other thing that got you why you were betrayed by somebody, is because they envied your ability. They envied you, and they just wanted you out of the picture and gone. And unfortunately, they got their way. Um, how this influences you in your personal today is you've carried over this energy. Okay, I feel like a lot of you are practicing magicians today and into witchcraft, or into some of you may even be into Celtic witchcraft specifically, or Celtic paganism specifically. You're very, very still in touch with those roots. um, and with those paths and traditions, and this manifests in your magic. Okay, if some of you are very connected to witchcraft and practicing magic, and you have been empowered by this experience because you still carry all of that empowered energy and that strong sense of self with you into this lifetime. Does that make sense? And this has played out into this lifetime as well. I don't feel like there's anything that really needs to be healed in this. I did get for some of you that there may be this hesitancy to kind of, even though you know how strong of a person and a magician and a witch that you are, or a pagan that you are, you're still kind of hesitant to show this, because I'm going to use this word very, very loosely, but that witch wound may still be there for some of you, right? Some of you may still be very hesitant about coming out of the closet and showing your own beliefs that way because you have been persecuted in a past life. But I feel like that's only a very small selection of you. And if that's the case, understand that we are not living in the same times. It is okay to show your power and to show who you are in this lifetime. But I feel like for most of you, you're unapologetically you. You still have that strong sense of self. You still know what you're capable of spiritually. You still know and very in tune with things. A lot of that stuff from that lifetime has passed over into this lifetime, and you're still utilizing it. You're still using it. Does that make sense? Is anybody resonating with this? I hope. Um, so that's what I'm getting for pile number one. So you guys were and some very powerful people in a past life and very, very, very spiritual. Amanda, if you want a reading, there is a link in the pinned comment below of where to my Etsy where you can get personal readings if you're looking for a personal. We're just doing general today. Um, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Troy. A lot of the indigenous cultures, they told their legends and stuff were passed on through storytelling and myths and stuff like that. So they weren't like actually written out. Okay, everyone. Okay, so these are just general readings, guys. There is a link to my Etsy if you guys want to purchase private personal readings. I'm not doing personal readings today. I will probably, if you guys want me to come on and do personal readings, I have been doing them at night, but I can start doing them through the day if that's something you guys are interested in. But I'm not doing personal. These are just pick a card. So they're very general right now. I'm seeing a lot of people asking for personal. Okay. So, here's for pile two. So if you guys picked pile two, this is what you could have been, who you could have been in a past life. Again, these are general, so take what resonates with you and leave the rest. So for pile twos, we had Atlantis coming up reversed. We also had ships coming up. We had Asia coming up. We have a true friendship or Knight of Pentacles coming up, reversed. We have poison, the Seven of Cups coming up, as well as chronic illness, the Four of Swords coming up, reversed. We have the Sun card or the Page of Wands. We have old age or the Three of Pentacles coming up reversed. We have violence or the Five of Swords. And then we also have Japan and the Ace of Swords. Um, and then we have the Ace of Wands reversed coming up with the Page of Cups. So we have Korea and Daughter as well coming up reversed. And then we have Conflict, which is the Five of Wands, and Justice reversed as well. Okay. So, with all of these, what I got was you lived a life in Asia or around in the Asia area. Okay. You may have migrated into this area. I feel like there was a migration or immigration of some sort, but within the same area during this lifetime. Okay. So, you were on a ship at some point in this lifetime. You did it, you were living in the part of the world that had to do with Asia or is connected to Asia currently today. Now, remember that the parts of the world have changed, right? So what may have been Asia, what is Asia currently today may have been something different, because the lands have been renamed, countries have changed, land mass has shifted as well. I also feel like you descended from Atlantis. So a past lifetime previous to this lifetime was from Atlantis. So you had lived in Atlantis previously. You had died in Atlantis, and your soul reincarnated into Asia in another lifetime. Does that make sense? Your descent, you are of Atlantean descent. From my understanding, is Atlantis is a star seed. So most of the population, to my understanding, that inhabited Atlantis, at least from the research I've done, they believe that the Atlanteans descended from the Palladian star system. They were Palladians that or descended from the Pleiadians. So if you believe in star seeds, you this might resonate with you as well. You could be a star seed, but I feel if you don't resonate with that part, that's okay. But most of you descended from Atlantis and ended up in Asia in this lifetime. Okay. So I'm doing pile twos right now. So what I'm getting is, hold on. Okay. So we have true friend coming up. Okay. I gotta split these up for a minute. Okay. So the first card that's coming up is the true friend reversed. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like you did not have a lot of friends in this lifetime. You were very much a loner. Um, you had a hard time connecting to people, I feel like, maybe because you always felt like you were different, okay? And that's the thing with star seeds as well. When we reincarnate, we never feel like Earth is really home because Earth is not where we're from. So a lot of times we feel alienated and it's hard for us to make friends or even connect to other people, okay? And I feel like that was very much you in this past lifetime. You did not have a lot of loyal people in your life, a lot of people you could even trust, or a lot of people that you could connect with. I feel like loyalty was missing in this lifetime a lot. And you felt like the only true friend you had was yourself. The only person you could depend on was yourself. Okay? Um, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I do feel like you felt like your only true friend was you. You had a hard time connecting with people. You may have struggled with an illness since you were born, from the time you were born, like quite literally from the time you incarnated. You came into this world because this is reversed. You came into this world with a chronic illness. So there might have been an illness that you were born with that you suffered with throughout this lifetime. I also am getting that you grew up, that this illness was not helped because the poison card is coming up, and I don't feel like this is literally people ingesting you with poison in this lifetime. The poison, in the way that it came through, was just a poisonous, toxic atmosphere you grew up in, right? So because you came in with probably karma, and that may have been why you came in with an illness of some sort, but you were born with a chronic illness, and you came in with that, but it wasn't helped because you were still growing up in a toxic environment. The environment that you were born into was very, very toxic, and that added into the energy of this illness. So it just kind of compounded on top of it and made it worse, right? It was like adding poison to things. It just made it that much worse. The atmosphere you came into was very, very violent. So we have the violence card coming up here. This is the Five of Swords. So it was very, very violent. This could have been in Japan. I feel like Japan. Um, I said the shifts was you wanted to migrate or you did migrate, but I feel like you didn't. You dreamed. Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. But you grew up in a very violent atmosphere place, right? There was violence all around you, surrounding you everywhere. This may have been, like I said, in Japan specifically, which is part of Asia now. Um, that may have been where you experienced this past life. It could have been in a time where there was a lot of fighting occurring in that part of the world. We have the Three of Pentacles coming up reversed in the Sun. So this tells me that you were born as a male in this lifetime, but you did not live to be very old. The fact that the Sun is coming up and then old age reversed behind it tells me that you died at a fairly young age. I feel like, though, oddly enough, you felt old. Okay, so I feel like you may have lived during a time where the life expectancy, or in a part of the world even where the life expectancy was not that high, right? So you felt like you lived a good long life, even though in today, when we look at it, it was a short life. Um, it was, you know, you didn't live a very long life in this lifetime. Um, I feel like let me see. Let me see. Where is your I feel like there was a part of you that always wanted a sibling as well in this lifetime. Somebody, a companion. So daughter card is coming up reversed, and I felt like there you just kind of longed for somebody to connect with. And because you were so young, like having a sibling or somebody that you could have connected with on that level, it's something that you really dreamed of. You may have also dreamt of going away to someplace different. You wanted to be somewhere where you weren't and you couldn't travel, right? You were kind of stuck where you were because I feel like you were too young to travel. So a lot of the traveling that occurred, you did travel because there's ships, but I feel like a lot of that was more within your imagination. And you had a very strong active imagination and you were able to kind of use that as an escape out of things. So you may have talked or heard stories from people about their travels. You may have been able to just picture things in your mind of places you wanted to go and, kind of traveled that way. I don't feel like you literally traveled because what I'm seeing from these cards is that you were stuck where you were. You were born in Japan, you stayed there, even though you had dreams of traveling elsewhere. Okay. You did have dreams of having somebody to connect with, a sibling. There's son and daughter there, so it's like a pair. So it could have been a sibling or it could have just been like a mate of some sort or somebody to connect to. I do feel like I don't know if you died of poison in this lifetime or you died of violence. They're not really telling me how you died in this lifetime, but I do feel like you were born into a very poisonous atmosphere, poisonous environment. It was always filled with violence, tension, a lot of negative energy. And as you lived your life, you kind of absorbed that energy. And that is what did not help with the illness that you were born with. I feel like the chronic illness that you were born with, correction, is what took you out in the long run. You died from that illness. However, the environment that you were in contributed to that because you absorbed all that violence, that anger, that hatred, that negativity, all that poisonous kind we're going to say poisonous for lack of better words energy, which made you even more sicker than you were originally were, which made you unable to kind of heal from anything as well because all that lingering energy kind of got absorbed and you didn't really know how to cleanse it or get rid of it at that point in time. So that's what took you out. Um, I shouldn't say took you out, but that's what took you out. When I asked how this is affecting you today or how this plays out in your life today, um, there's still a lot of conflict in your life. You may still find yourself in very conflictive situations or a lot of places where there's a lot of aggression. I also felt like there was still this part of you. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but what came through really strongly when I pulled these cards was there's still this part of you that holds on to anger, resentment, who feels like you got cheated out of life in a sense, and is very, very bitter about that. So there's still a lot of anger and hatred and resentment that you have carried over from that lifetime because part of you still feels like you were cheated out of that. And that is playing into your energy today, which you may be a bit of a hothead. You may like conflict, maybe okay, I'm not gonna say like conflict in a negative way. You're a fighter. Um, that's what I'm getting. They're like not in a bad way necessarily, unless you choose to take it that way. Um, This conflict card can be used for good or bad because the justice card is coming up. It's all how you use it, right? You guys are warriors. You're natural born warriors, and that side of you is still there. But I feel like there is still this unhealed part of you, or this part of you that's very bitter and resentful because your life was cut so short and you felt like you did not get to experience the full experience of everything. And you're like, that's not fair. It's, I keep hearing it's not fair. Like you're just angry over it. And I don't feel like a lot of you know necessarily where this anger and this resentment is coming from. Like a lot of you may be unconscious as to where this is stemming from and telling you now this is where it's stemming from is this fact that this past life specifically. Um, I was also getting activists, so a lot of you are people who fight for what you want now. Protectors, warriors. You fight for the innocent and the people who can't fight themselves. You know, you fight for the people who can't fight for themselves. And that's because of this determination and this drive that you were born with. So that's what I'm getting for pile number threes. That's a lot of information. Holy. Um, so yeah, it was a short life and a dramatic life, but it was interesting. I felt like the most interesting part for me for pile twos was the fact that you guys don't necessarily stem from what we call planet Earth. Like I feel like your very first incarnation or where your soul descends from originally is not from here. Not from Earth, like this planet. Doesn't mean you can't incarnate on this planet because obviously you're living here, but your soul isn't originally from here. Oh, sorry, that does sound like a lot like you. Oh, that's awesome, Mimi. That's so cool. Okay, so let's jump on to when I can talk. Let's do pile number threes. So if you chose pile number threes, oh, oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Switch back over to my comments so I can see what you guys are typing. Pile number threes are authority. So the cards that came out for this was authority figure, but it came out reversed. And at first I thought you guys were like very like oppressive people, like you abused your authority. But I don't feel like that was the case after the rest of the cards came out. I kind of got more insight into that because the next card that came out was the spouse reversed and health reversed. And then we had the starvation, which is the Five of Pentacles reversed. We have plague, which is the Tower card upright. Then we had, what else did we have come out? The Two of Pentacles reversed, which is India. The World's reversed, which is migration. Then we have the Before Christ, which is the High Priestess, the BC card. We have the Hero, which is the Knight of Cups reversed. We also have 19th century, so Nine of Pentacles. And then we have a Broken Heart reversed, which is the Three of Swords. And we also, what else did we have come out? We had the Benevolent Man, which is the King of Cups. And then the King of Wands reversed come out as well, which is the Landering Man. Which is very, very interesting. Okay. So first of all, in this life, I am not sure whether you were male or female because they did not give me that. Um, they didn't. Although I am seeing a lot of. Oh, they did give me that. Sorry, they did give me that. Wow. Okay. They're yelling at me now. Okay, so we have authority figure coming up reversed for pile threes, the spouse and the health. So what I got with these three cards was that in a past life, you were somebody who was married to somebody who's very, very abusive of their power. Okay? You were in this life, you were partnered up with somebody who was very dominant, but not in a positive way. It was like very like abusive. It would be considered abusive today. Back then it was considered normal. Nowadays it would be considered abusive. Okay, so you were with somebody who was a very prominent authority figure. You married this person. I felt like this marriage was more arranged than it was you wanting to marry this person. I just felt like this came through as more of a, especially with authority figure, but the judge card coming up, it just felt like it was more of a political thing, right? I felt like it was an arranged marriage of some sort, but it was to somebody who was a higher authority figure, but they really, really abused their authority. And as a result, it had a lot of effects on you, right? It kind of belittled you, it caused some health effects for you, and not very good. This was somebody who, you know, you were surrounded in this lifetime by death. I hate to say this, but like a death was not an uncommon thing for you in this lifetime. It wasn't something that scared you in this lifetime. You were surrounded by it. Death was part of your everyday experience. We have the plague and we have starvation coming up reversed. Um, the starvation coming up reversed, I feel like it connects to some of these other cards where you just felt internally starved by things. But I feel like um actively there was a lot of pestilence and a lot of disease that surrounded you. Where you lived was full of disease and full of pestilence. You may have been born during a quote unquote plague or pandemic. Need I say that forbidden word? Like similar to what we're going through now, only like actually people were dying on the streets. It was that bad. You've seen bodies lying everywhere, right? So you may have been born during a time where there was some sort of health pandemic, which could also play into this health card being reversed, right? There was some sort of health pandemic going on, plague, whatever the case may be, but it was not pleasant at all. There was a lot of death around you, and death became part of your everyday experience. Okay. You were definitely a female in this lifetime. I feel like you lived in India, but India was not, you migrated into India. I felt like you came to India. I don't know if you came in as a child or you migrated as part of this arrangement to get married. I feel like this was more like coming in younger because I can't, they're not showing me like um coming in to get married. but you definitely moved. With the Two of Pentacles reversed and the Migration card both coming up, which is the World, you moved in here, and when you moved here, you did not leave. You were stuck here. Sorry, I'm trying to think. Okay, so you definitely spent the rest of your life in this place if you were not born in there. Some of you might have been born there and tried to want to leave, but you just couldn't for whatever reason. And some of you might have migrated in and just got stuck there and you couldn't leave for whatever reason. You were definitely a female in this lifetime though, because we have the High Priestess coming up. So I don't feel like this was before Christ or any time before Christ. I feel like this was a pretty recent. I felt like the 19th century card was popping out to me, so I feel like this was a fairly recent past life, like only a couple hundred years ago, because I mean we're in what, the 21st, 22nd century now. I don't even know what century we're in. 21st century. We're in 2000, 20th century. I don't know. But anyways, whatever century we're in, this wasn't that long ago. Um, so you guys definitely, this was a fairly recent past life for you guys. Unlike like the other ones where I feel like they were hundreds and hundreds of years ago, this was fairly recently. Like this was a fairly recent past life for you guys. Um, but I feel like you were definitely a woman, but I feel like you were a woman of power. And this is where this comes from. This is why I feel like you were starved because you came into this marriage or this coupling with an expectation that you would be an equal. And it did not turn out. It was like you had something in mind when you married this person or when this was arranged and you're like, well, great, this is an opportunity now because of this person having prestige and having power. Well, now I can help, now I can lend my abilities and my power. And you viewed it as an opportunity and a chance, but it did not turn out that way. um, you were like, great, now I can be not necessarily the hero, but you were a strong person who was disempowered over time. Like all of your confidence, it's like you came into this marriage with a strong sense of self, a strong, a very empowered woman. And over the years of being in this marriage, when you get into abusive relationships of any kind, they wear you down after time and you lose your power bit by bit by bit. They slowly starve you to death, right? They slowly starve you to death. And I feel like this was the case for you. This was like the 19th century, like I said, and you came in because this is the Nine of Pentacles and this is a Wish card. That's why I said I feel like you came into this marriage kind of expecting one thing and getting another, right? You were expecting to be a equal partner where you ended up having to almost beg and plead for any type of attention. Any type of attention. Um, so that's really really it's heartbreaking to see because I see this like really empowered woman getting so disempowered and eventually that wore you down. And I feel like this is what killed you. It wasn't all the death around you. It was this broken heart that killed you. And I want to cry, honestly, just talking about it because it's really sad. I feel like you died of a broken heart. You died of not being able of just being broken to the point that you had no fight left in you. You didn't see a point to living anymore. It was like you got so shadowed overshadowed by things, and you felt like there was no escape, and you were literally worn down. Your heart was broken, you were broken, and you just felt like you couldn't continue on anymore. Now, here's the funny thing, okay? Here's the funny thing. How this impacts your life now, you come back the complete opposite. So we have the benevolent man, which is the King of Cups coming up. And then we have the philandering man, which is the King of Wands reverse coming up in behind it. So it's like you've learned your lesson from this past life. I don't feel like there's any traumas for you to heal. Um, Unlike twos where I said there might have been some anger issues to heal, I feel like you guys are at peace. There was like this peaceful energy that comes through when I hold these cards. I feel like you guys are at peace with this. What's happened is you've used this as an experience to learn and grow from. And even though you may not understand it on a conscious level, because past lives are really hard to tap into in a conscious level, I feel like on an unconscious level, you guys are, um, you're feeling it, right? You guys know what it's like to be victimized. You guys know what it's like to be disempowered. So you came into this life with an understanding of that and an acceptance of this energy. And now you've come in with a lot of masculine energy, even though some of you may be female, so you carry a lot of masculine energy. You came into this life being this, because this is the King of Cups, this kind, caring, compassionate partner. You came in with this will to be the partner that is going to uplift your partner, that's going to take care of whoever you're with, that's going to, um, be that loving, supportive, because you don't ever want your partner. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Okay, you don't ever want your partner to feel victimized the way that you did in this past life, okay? You don't ever want anybody to feel that way ever. So you've come in with the opposite energy to determine to flip that around, right? Um, and to be the balance of that so that you can take all this negative energy that came from being the victim and balance it out by being the kind supportive spouse that you need to be with people. um so I don't feel like there's anything bad coming from this. That's a really, I don't know, that's probably, that reading made me want to cry. But yeah, you guys are coming in as the caretakers in this life because, again, you've lived this past life where you've been abused, where you've known what it's like to be on the receiving end of that, on the other side of that, where you've been the abused person, you've been the neglected person, you've been devalued, you've been, worn down and trampled down, and you don't want anybody else to ever feel that. Um, and you're taking care of business. You're being you're being the change that you wanted to see in that past life. So it's like you always wished for that partner that was caring, that was compassionate, that was, that wanted you as an equal. And now you're into this life making sure that you are that partner, that you are embodying that energy of what you wanted in that past life, which is really, really amazing. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for pile threes. If you guys want a personal reading, I can do, if you want, I can put a link right now. If you guys want to buy a personal reading, I can do some personal readings for people right now if you guys want me to. I'll make them $15. I can give you guys the link if anybody's interested. If not, then I'm going to jump off. Yeah, it's beautiful. It made me want to cry. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, that's awesome, Tina. Well, I'm glad that they've been helpful. Thank you. If you guys know anybody that would benefit from my readings, please feel free to tag them in the comments as well. That would be amazing. That would help get my stuff out there. So any of the free content, feel free to share it, to tag people in it. Facebook is really frustrating sometimes. I love Facebook, but it can be frustrating to try and get your stuff out there because they don't share it as much as I would like. And I know I'm not the only reader that I've talked to that has that issue. So if you guys can help me out and share this and tag people, that would be amazing if you know anybody that can benefit from these. I'm glad that they have helped you, Tina. That's the purpose. I want to create content that's going to help you guys. If anybody's in need of a personal reading, and there is a link to my Etsy, I have lots of spiritual readings in there. I'm also going to post some love readings. So my guides have been pushing me to do twin flame readings as well as divine feminine and masculine, the inner part of the twin flame. So not necessarily the external projection of the twin flame, but the internal part and then the external part as well. So if anyone's looking to know about their twin flames, where they are, if they even are incarnated at the moment or not, that kind of thing. That's what's going to be included in that reading. And then there's a divine masculine and feminine one coming out too that will be more focused on combining yourself, the masculine and the feminine, and the twin flames within you to complete yourself. So awesome. Well, whenever you can do it, Tina, that would be amazing, and it would be so incredibly helpful to me. Um, I would appreciate that a lot. It helps to get it out there, get me out there a little bit. So I never know. I share these to some places, but then there's a lot of groups and stuff anymore that it's don't allow these kind of readings in them. So yeah. So if you guys can help, that would be amazing. Amazing. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna jump off, and if there's anything else you guys would like to see me do pick a card readings on, love readings, or anything like that, let me know. Again, these are general readings. If they resonate, take them. If not, don't. If you want something personal to you, if you want to know really in depth about a personal past life, I do more in-depth readings where I get into really in-depth with things more than what I did here, where we look at various different things, how, we look at your complete past life, how you lived, how you died, that kind of thing, as well as, how it's influencing you, how you can correct any negative influences that are being brought in through this life, and all of that fun stuff. So if this didn't resonate with you, but you want a private one because you want one that does, let me know. I'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are amazing, amazing, amazing. And I'll see you next week for the other pick a card readings. If you guys want readings done in this live format, I am on Thursdays and Sundays as well and late at night, but if it would be more beneficial, I can go on through the day, at least on Thursday, and do some live readings then if you guys would be interested. Let me know. Main readings are $15 for the live readings. So if you guys want me to do that, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Drop a comment. But anyways, I'm going to jump off so I can get some other listings put up in my Etsy for those readings and get some work done. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye, guys.